Moadim l'simcha, a guten Erev Shabbos. The celebration on Sukkot in the times of the temple was unlike anything else in the world. The Gemara in Sukkah says that someone who never saw the celebrations of Simchas Beis HaShoeva on chol hamoed sukkos in the temple can't say that they've ever seen joy in their lives. The scholars and leaders of the times danced, lights from tall posts flooded all Jerusalem with light, and people rejoiced for the entire week so much that they never tasted sleep. Here in Toronto, we've been doing our part. All week long since Yom Tov began on Monday, we've been taking our lulavim and circling the bima at the end of services each day. We recite elaborate poems called Hoshanas, as in Hoshiana, please God save us, as we usually say in Hallel. These, however, are special ones for sukkos, as the judgment for the year for water takes place at this time. Today, being Shabbat, we don't take the lulav, so the special poem that we'll say after Musaf, we won't circle the bima when we say it, but we will be thinking about it. But stay tuned for the great Hoshana Rabbah, tomorrow morning, Saturday night and Sunday morning. The last day of Sukkot, the festival of joy, as we've been saying all week long in our davening, the conclusion and culmination and high point of Sukkot, and really the conclusion of the high holiday season. It's customary to say some of the holiday parts of davening and for the chazan to wear a kittel. It's a unique blend of seriousness and purpose with joy and song and festivity. Our Sunday morning minyan apparently has long COVID. It has not returned to action quite yet, despite our efforts to convene it. But this Sunday is different from all the other Sundays. It's Hoshana Rabbah, and we will have a minyan Sunday morning, so please join us. As we say, we'll have a very festive davening, and the high point of that will be 7 hakafos, 7 circuits around the bima, calling out those very brief but very evocative poems called Hoshanas. They are in a poetic Hebrew that challenges even the scholars among us. Thankfully, there's plenty of explanation to be found for those interested. At the end of those 7 circuits, the great Hoshana will say the heartfelt prayers for abundant and sufficient water in this year that's just begun. Not that we're worried about a dry winter in Toronto. In fact, we're hoping the rain holds off until the sukkah is put away. But as always, water is a concern for our brothers and sisters in Israel. So Jews around the world on Sunday will be imploring the heavens for the well-being of Israel from a point of view of water. At the end of that, as if it weren't already something out of the ordinary, we'll follow a custom of the prophets and beat a bunch of willow twigs on the ground to sweeten and temper the severities of judgment. Believe it or not, and you have to see it to believe it, we'll take a bunch of willow branches, not from the lulav and esrog bundle, but special unto themselves, and smack them on the ground, and say a little prayer that goes along with that. What's in that prayer? Good question. Have a look, if you like, on page 757 in the Art Scroll Siddur. That's the prayer that accompanies smacking the willow twigs on the ground. What's the main thrust of the prayer? In the 4th line down, I think you have it, in the English translation, the curtain of iron. Right? We used that expression for 5 decades at the end of the 20th century. We spoke about the Iron Curtain in Europe, but the truth of the matter is that this prayer in our very own siddur has the phrase Mechitzas HaBarzal right there in it. This Iron Curtain that's been around for centuries refers to a separation between us and God that we allowed to happen, or even that we have a part in constructing and building. But as the sages say, Simcha Poretz Geder, joy breaks down barriers, even a barrier of iron. It's our hope that on Sukkot, especially at the high point of Sukkot, which is Hoshana Rabbah, that our rejoicing is able to accomplish just that, a breaking down of any feelings of separation or distance from God, and that we should all be in the loving embrace of Avinu Malkeinu, as we said, for the first 10 days of the month of Tishrei. The willow branch had a special place in the temple service at Sukkot. The Kohanim would obtain very long willow branches and drape them over the edge of the altar, and would also parade around the altar, holding them aloft. In our discussions of the symbolic meanings that we derive from the 4 species, the palm, the esrog, the myrtle, and the willow, The willow was the one that did not have the outstanding scent like an esrog or the tasty fruit of a date palm. It's rather simple, in fact. That might suggest to us that our relationship with God is at its essence not based on what we do, but rather what we are. The very fact of belonging to the Jewish people itself puts us in this covenant, in this relationship, as custodians of a sacred heritage. The brook willow, the arvei nachal that the Torah speaks about in the relevant passage, has one outstanding feature that we can learn from. This particular species of tree grows in groups. It somehow sticks together with others of its own kind. It's never alone. We can only hope that we continue to do in the new year as we've always done at our shul, to make sure that no Jew is alone, to convey the message that we stick together, that we are one people, and we do all we can to keep it that way. And following Hoshana Rabbah, we'll join hands and dance in a circle, the custom of hakafos on Simchas Torah, dancing around the bima with the Torah. These circuits are unlimited, not the one per day that we did during Sukkot, each day this week, not the 7 of Hoshana Rabbah, but an unlimited, uncountable number of hakafos, around and around and around, our last and unlimited expression of Simcha of Tishrei. Please God, dancing and singing into a new year of good health, peace in Israel and the world, good news from all around, and good things for our Kehillah and for all of us. Good Shabbos, Chag Sameach.